Hey, I'm Carson James, and today we have Emma and we have Horsey. So we're just going to talk for a second about being able to turn loose different areas of the neck, right? So what we're going to start off with is getting them to break at the withers to where they actually drop their entire head. Not that you would want to ride your horse around with his nose dragging the ground, because if you're not careful, you'll get him on their front end. This isn't about that. This is about just getting them to release tension in their top line, right? So we're always trying to get them to release a brace somewhere, whether it's a mental brace or a physical brace, a brace in the feet and the loin and the back and the TMJ, the pole. So anyways, what works really good, and it kind of just naturally makes sense to a horse, if we're wanting them to break at the withers, our hands are going to be kind of wide and they'll be a little bit lower. And will kind of be like this, left, right, left, right, left, right. So in a minute, when Emma starts doing that, she's just gonna look at his pole right here. And every time she sees this black hair go down, even if it's only that much, she's gonna throw the reins, meaning she's gonna give him an obvious full release. Now, a lot of times people ask, what about when you're trying to get them to lower their head and they just flex at the pole and don't actually drop their head? That's where the timing comes in. If we're looking right here and we're making sure that we give an obvious release every time this drops, at first the horse might kind of do this and only lower a little. But as long as we release when the head actually drops, the horse will figure out, oh, the release is when I lower. As you keep repeating that, they get to where, from the timing of when you release, they get to where they can separate which one you want. So now we're going to talk about getting them to keep their head at the same place and only break at the pole. What works really good and is kind of natural for most horses for this, we're going to have our hands a little closer together, and it's going to be more of a lifting motion. That's going to have a tendency to maybe even elevate the head, but then have him soften at the pole. All right, so see if you can have the head lower. That's it. We'll just keep there. See it getting kind of low there? In a minute, he'll probably drop it all the way down. We'll just keep playing until he kind of does it. There it is, feed him. So even though we bent, did you see how it really went down? So now, Emma, just see if you can keep the head elevated and soften the pole. Good job. Looking great. Looking great. Looking great. There it is. Cool. So it's pretty much it. You say, why is this important? Way later down the road, you start to have them position their neck in such a way that encourages them to maintain a more athletic, balanced posture. But that's way down the road. You don't want to get too crazy with this before they get balanced, because you'll end up throwing them onto the front. So at this phase, this is just about getting them to turn loose. And nice, relax those muscles, even pitch a little slack. Yeah. It's all about getting them to just take the tension and release it, whether it's in the pole or the withers or tension in the back. If one's really tight in the back, you actually can get him walking around and get him to where he's got his head like that, and you'll feel your saddle starting to loosen up and move more. So it's just oh, look at that. It's just releasing the tension, right? It would be, so another version of releasing the tension is, watch, right here we're gonna bend the entire neck, right? Right here, we're gonna keep the neck a little bit closer. Gonna keep the neck a little bit or the rein a little closer to his neck, and we're gonna try to keep the neck straight, but we're gonna try to release only the TMJ or the pole. So we want it to look like this. That was a perfect example. Neck stayed straight, only the pole bent. So what causes that, what kind of helps them have a tendency to do that is if we a little bit more of a lifting motion, right? And we're going to try to only tip the nose there, right? Only tip there. It was very, very slight, but remember, when you're teaching them something that refined, if we cannot recognize and reward that much, it's going to be a long time before you see this much. But if you can recognize and reward that much about 20 times in a row, that 21st time, it starts turning into that much. So, especially when they're first learning something, remember to release at the slot. You're looking for this much. And it takes practice in itself to learn to recognize that much, right? But when the better you get at seeing that much of a change, the quicker you'll be able to start seeing this much of a change. No matter what it is, side pass, stop it, you know, any of that stuff. Nice. One more time, elevate the head and soften the pole. Love it.
The video you just watched was just like pretty much every other video we do. It's all of the things that the human can start doing to teach that horse to have the same thoughts that the human is having more and more often and in more and more ways. That's the key to having an awesome horse and being able to actually enjoy it instead of just chasing problems every time you ride. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can become a Carson James Insider. Really neat deal, completely free. Just click right here for the details. We'll see you next time.